What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be interviewing Nobonetyrone, who is a very influential waiver popper from Compton, I believe. And we're going to hear his story because you should know about him, especially if you're, within the popping dance, within waving specifically. So there's a lot of people that have mentioned Nobonetyrone. If you know Jay Smooth, if you've been to the Waves Within, he was one of the judges, No Bone. Also, just his name is talked about by many poppers in the world, not just in LA. So let's get questions. Feel free to share as well. So we'll, uh, I feel like we're gonna hear some really cool stories. My thoughts, but hey, No Bone Tyrone, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Had to
Uh,
get my headphones together, man. How's everything?
Good. Just getting home, and I appreciate your flexibility as well, and being here, and I appreciate this time. So I'm doing good. How are you
Awesome,
doing?
awesome.
How are you
Well,
feeling today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm just more or less just wanting to make sure that the sound is good, glitch free, of
Yeah.
course, and and as far as my image, as long as it's visible enough for this to continue, is what my concern is right now.
Yeah.
But,
No.
yeah, I definitely appreciate this.
Yeah, I can
But,
hear you fine, so it sounds
great.
good, and I love the fit too. I love the black on black and white background. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's always something, just off the cuff. You sometimes you just never know. I've had interviews before in the past where I blew it and didn't get the framing right, and so well, you know how it is.
right.
Sometimes you just don't know what to expect, and then due to time constraints, you just try to hurry up a lot of times. So in this case, it seems like everything is a little bit more prepared since we, had a chance to pretty much talk with each other in advance,
Yeah.
and you let me know what to expect. So definitely appreciate that. But but yeah, so where are you from, by the way? I never even asked you. What part of the world are you
Yeah, yeah.
broadcasting from?
So I was born in New York, so Queens, New York, but most of my life I lived in Pennsylvania, so Lehigh
Oh,
Valley,
okay.
Allentown, and then I moved to LA about 10 years ago. So
Oh,
now,
oh, so you're out
now,
here.
so
Cool.
I'm
Okay.
out here, and now I'm living in Long Beach.
Oh, Long Beach?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, awesome. Awesome.
So
Yeah,
that's where I'm
good deal.
coming from. Let me see. I think there might be a. Do you hear like a double voice, like a delay of me talking
I do not.
down here?
Not on my end,
Not on
no.
your
I don't
end?
hear a delay. No, no,
Let's
it
see.
sounds good.
For anyone that's tuning in, let me know if you hear a double delay. It might be just me, but let's see if anyone says anything. I see Felipe's on. I see Fractal, Distortion. I see Hurdle. Okay.
OG Hurdle in the
Oh yeah, he's there
house.
too.
Awesome.
Okay. So Fractal says that there is like an echo. Hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, let me see. Maybe let me see. There's an echo.
It's only when I'm talking I notice.
Oh, okay. So it's
Yeah.
not on my end. Is
It's
there
not
anything I
when,
can do on my end?
yeah. I wonder if it's coming from your speakers or because I'm not sure.
Okay. Let's see. I could try turning off my
Yeah,
earphones.
try disconnecting it. Maybe that'll reconnect it.
Let's see.
I'll just talk. Oh, hear me? Oh, oh.
Okay, what about now?
One, two, three. Oh, it's gone.
That's gone? Okay, so it's probably
Nice,
my earphones. Okay.
nice. And you sound. I think it sounds clear actually now. You sound clear.
Okay. It sounds
Yeah.
more clear now?
Yeah, I would say
Okay,
so.
cool. All right, maybe that's all it is. I'm just so used to talking on the phone and using my earphones. It's a little bit more convenient. A little, little more closer to my ears.
Right. No, I hear
So I
you.
just
I
take
hear
the
you.
advantage when I can,
I hear
you
you
know.
on that. But yeah, so I would like to share. So again, for introducing myself, from the East Coast, living in LA. But I've been, you know, popping was one of the first dances that inspired me, that got me into, oh, what is this street dance? What is this world? What is waving? And I, fell in love with the movement for years. And then I just, fell in love with all these different styles. So recently, I've been doing interviews of dancers. So interviewing dancers from California, from Japan, all over the world to hear the stories of their OGs. Who were the people they learned from? What were they watching? A lot of people in Europe, they always talk about the break-in films, and New York, like Electric Boogaloo. It's interesting to hear how people hear about the dance. It spreads. And a topic recently was waving. People wanted to talk about, okay, what is waving? Where does it come from? Who are the people involved? And I was like, I want to interview those people. I want to hear, I want to go down the rabbit hole so that the current generation and the future generation can watch these stories, hear these stories, and it just keeps the art. To me, I want to keep the history, or find out the history, or things that haven't been shared for the
Okay.
future. That's what my intention is with these interviews. So when it came to waving, I interviewed Jay Smooth, and I interviewed Daryl Stokes, and
Oh,
I interviewed Function and Distortion, some of the Liquid as well community on the East Coast.
oh, okay, okay.
And so
Distortion. I met Distortion a few weeks ago at the Ways Within. Really cool guy.
yeah,
Really, really cool guy. Very, very knowledgeable about the liquid art form. I was just very impressed with his knowledge. I know he probably had no idea what I knew, which is what I love, because a lot of people they kind of get like a certain impression about the art form as it kind of gets away from what they know about it. So that's why it's good to always be uh, in a place where people can come up to you and you can like exchange information,
hmm,
because that's the only way we're gonna become more knowledgeable, is to
yes,
just share information with each other.
exactly,
And I think that's what a lot of people really are trying to do, is just try to learn as much information as possible, so
right.
that way they can become better, at waving, popping, bopping, boogaloo, tron,
Right, right.
whatever it is, man, ticking, tutting, right? I mean, we can just go on and on and on. But yeah, but exchanging that information with each other is really the key, So that's why I try to make it a point to get out to as many events as I can, and make myself approachable, because man, every time I go out, every time I question if I should, go to whatever the event is, I always seem to run into someone that has, these questions. And it's just so impressive to me that, dancers are doing their homework now, it is so cool to see, because before you could just get away with telling them anything, you know, and they would just literally just, take it in. But I always had a motto and a disclaimer that I always said, hey, you know what, whatever I tell you, whatever it is, I don't care what it is,
Mm,
please, I beg of you, go and ask someone else. I usually,
mm,
honor, anyone who I ever have mentored, to
mm,
go and do your research. Just don't take my word for it. I
right,
mean, that's the way I've always been.
right.
Always. I've never said, hey, whatever I show you, this is it right here. This is all you need to know to, complete your journey. No, no, it's just the beginning, just the beginning stages.
Wow, and that's a very selfless statement to make.
Oh yeah.
I could see how the ego, or an ego one would be like, I am the way, I
Oh, for
through
sure.
me. That which people do. There are
Yeah.
people,
We
that's how,
don't- You're
Um,
right.
but I see also Gizmo's on here as well. And
Gizmo Magnetic. It's
yeah,
time in the house. What's up, Giz?
yes. But
Her,
just
oh, I know her over there too.
yeah, he was there
Cool.
too.
Yeah, give
But
it a shout out.
just to get started, because I also want to respect time as well.
Okay.
The last thing I want to mention before we go into just your story, I want to hear your story and what you saw and your what just your experience. Um, Jace, when I talked to, because I'm interviewing people, right, all over LA, and I was like, I was talking to Tabo, and he was like, who would be another person to ask about the history of LA, like popping, who started? And he was like, ask No Bone Tyrone. So Tabo also has referenced or mentioned your name as well. So
Wow.
again, hearing how,
Oh, my guy, man. We go back so far. Oh my goodness, man. This is just turning me into an old man here, right? right, right before our eyes. But no, it's all good. It's definitely an honor and a blessing. So
yes.
you know,
So
it's really good.
yeah, so I would love to just, I guess, just to open up the question of, how did you hear about the dance, this form of popping and waving, and where was your first, I guess, memories you could remember?
Oh my gosh. How much time do we have?
I know. That's why I feel typically it goes for a while when
Really?
people start sharing, but
Really?
whatever you feel comfortable being able to share and what
Yeah.
the conversation
Oh
can
my
go.
gosh.
So
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go back. I'll go back in time.
okay.
So we're, you know, going to go back to approximately 1977, 1978,
Mm,
and I'm transitioning. I'm transitioning from junior high. At the time, I just graduated from Charles Drew Junior High School in LA,
mm,
and something really big happened that summer. I ended up moving from LA to go live with my grandmother. Now, before I, went to live with my grandmother, I remember me and my little brother Twister Flex Tim, rest in peace. I
mm,
remember us, walking home from school, and a couple of guys, ran by us, and they hollered out a gang. They hollered out a gang, right? They hollered out like WVG fool, and they just looked us down and just ran by, right?
mm.
And so I was kind of like just curious as to what that was all about. And I know I just mentioned how I was transitioning from LA to Compton. And
Mm,
so word got around that the hood was going to be splitting up sides. Like if you lived on one side of the tracks, you were going to be initiated into the Crips. If you lived on another side of the street, you were going to be initiated. You were going to become a blood. So basically, what they were doing was they were basically setting up everything to where you like just normal kids were getting initiated into gangs. So let's take a snapshot of that. So let's just so
okay.
just take a snapshot of that, okay? And
Right.
so now I move away from LA and I go to Compton. So it was Compton where I first seen the dance.
Mm,
And by this time we're talking like 19 it was the summer of 1978, 1979. And so uh, we were basically locking back then, straight locking, like it was all about locking, right? So I knew, well, pretty much everyone knew how to lock, whether it was just doing it playfully or just doing it, on a serious tip. Of course, I just was doing it just, playfully, like just amongst my friends, never to get any type of fame or recognition, from being a locker, because it was just a normal thing we did. But so getting back to Compton, so I'm in my woodshop class, and a guy asked me, it was amazing. He said, man, and I don't remember the guy's name. I do not remember the guy. We're talking frickin'
Wow.
40, 40 years ago, okay? Like over 40 years ago, for
Wow.
sure. But I remember the guy. This is now people have, please, I mean, don't think I'm just making this stuff up, all right? But I'm going to let you know
Okay. Yeah.
the guy straight up asked me, hey, Tyrone, have you seen popping before? I said, popping?
Mm.
Because, really, we're talking like 1978 at the 1979. When he said popping, I could just, think about what popping was. And when, let's just back up and let's really think about the word popping. Popping, defined by Webster's dictionary in 1978, 1979, is a pierce, sharp, loud sound. Has
Mm.
absolutely nothing to do with a dance, okay?
Right, right.
That's what a pop is, all right? And
Yeah.
so when he said that, the look on my face pretty much, had that look like, man, what is he talking about? So when I said that, immediately the guy said, pop locking. He knew I was familiar
Mm.
with
Mm.
he knew I was familiar with locking. And so in order to get me to understand
Pop
that he
lock.
was using this word in its connotative form, not its denotative form, but its connotative
Mm.
form, which is the shades of meaning of a word, when you break it down.
Okay.
Then I was able to say, oh, pop locking. And I was like, no, I haven't ever seen it. And so he said, wait until the end of class and outside of the campus on the grassy part of Dominguez High, they're going to be out there popping. And I just couldn't wait. So that time came and I seen popping for the very first time. Now, when I seen it, I was just absolutely blown away. And
Mm.
as as far as as far as the crews and everything, I still, I don't have an exact vision of the names of the guys that were dancing. Like I just can't, remember exactly who I seen popping. But that's the first time that I seen someone doing the backslide for the first time. But it was on grass. It was on grass. I could not believe I'm watching these guys float on grass, right? And
Nice.
so the one thing that I was confused about after I seen it was I, I I I was just so overwhelmed with you know my thought process because I didn't know I could not understand how something like that was happening. And so immediately I remember that day after I seen Poppin for the first time, I went home, went into my room, shut the door, and literally just went deep into thought. And I'm gonna tell you something. I literally could remember distinctively how I felt. I felt happy. I felt sad. I
Mm.
felt frustrated. And I
Wow.
didn't know why. I didn't know what was going on. It
Just
was only
frustration.
until later on I figured it out. When I say later on, I'm talking maybe 4 years later, maybe less than that.
Mm.
Once I started putting the pieces to the puzzle together as to what was going on, and I'll tell you what it was.
Mm.
The reason why I was feeling that way is because when I seen popping for the first time, I didn't realize it, but my emotions was being played with.
Mm.
That's why I was happy. That's why I was sad. That's why I was joyous at times. That's why I was frustrated. Now, the frustration part was because I'm thinking to myself, man, you know, why are these guys so good? Why are these guys so good? I'm from here. How did this dance take off like this? And
Mm.
I don't get a chance to be there on the stage with these guys. I that's
Uh,
it's almost like I wanted to like have a chance to be good already, but little did I know how lucky I was. I had no idea that what was happening at that time was unique for Compton. It was unique for Dominguez High. It was unique for just that moment in time. And that takes me back to where once I really started looking at everything, I said, that's it. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to overcome getting put on. So you see, my motivation
Mm.
for doing the dance, it's beyond just, doing it for, a couple of clicks or, a couple of views or just, I was really compelled to use this dance to pretty much get me in and out of different neighborhoods because that's what we did,
Ah.
and like I said before, when they talked about like breaking down the hood and
Mhm.
splitting it up, one side Crips, one side Bloods, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really how I kind of like learn to dance, or that was my motivation as to why I wanted to learn to dance so bad, and it ended up happening.
Wow.
So that's when I very that I should say that's when I started popping,
Mm.
or that's when I was introduced to the art form,
Mhm.
and later on I started looking at a specific guy by the name of Anthony A.K. King.
Okay.
He was, he was in a crew called the Electronic Puppets. And
Mm.
that crew, they basically, kind of paved the way for a lot of us there, in
Mm.
Compton.
Mm.
And not just them. There was a lot of different groups, but yeah, it was Anthony A.K. King was pretty much the top dog,
Wow.
at the time, and so he was the first guy that I seen do a twist to flex. If you seen,
Oh.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure, he's the guy. Along with just twist to flexing in general, that was literally like a one. That was one of the number one power moves back then that you would see
Interesting.
guys do. So when it comes to popping, it kind of starts with him. It really starts with him. And then when you look at as time progressed, and when I say progressed, I'm talking like maybe a few months later, I started just meeting, just like some of my classmates, like we all kind of knew about popping, and we kind of knew who was good, who was,
Wow.
who was some of the poppers that you needed to get to know, so that way you could improve your style. And so I had a buddy named Joseph. I had a
Mm.
buddy named Joseph. He had a brother named Bebe. And Joseph and Bebe, those were the two guys that introduced me to Anthony Starchild. Starchild is a popper that lived in Linwood, and he's the guy that I learned how to do the arm wave from. He's the first guy that I ever see
Wow.
arm wave, and it was uh, just I kind of sad to admit this. It's not sad, but just to show you the growth of the
Yes.
art form. Back in the day, like when I seen Star Child do his arm wave, he also had a body wave. And
Hmm.
so you figure the arm wave, the body wave, and then the ability to reverse the body wave, those are your only three waves, bro.
Interesting.
Those
Okay.
are your only three. There is absolutely no other waves. That's what people got to understand.
Huh.
Those were the only three. And so
Wow.
basically, yeah, yeah. And so basically, that's how I kind of got my start. Like, watching Star Child, and then, looking for any glimpse of anyone like trying to like wave at the time, because you wanted to you wanted to more or less try to catch anything that came out. And then also uh, to go along with watching those guys at Dominguez High School, there was also a crew called the Electric Boogaloos, right? With
Hmm.
Boogaloo Sam, Pop and
Yep.
Pete, like,
Yep.
and
Hmm.
the members of that crew, so basically when I seen them on Soul Train, along with what happened to me with the dancers that I seen, at Dominguez High, that's kind of what exposed me to it. And from there, this is what's amazing. Like really from there, like you could only imagine when popping first came out, and then the way that the Electric Boogaloos took off. Their style of Electric Boogaloo was so much in demand until it was impossible for them to teach this neighborhood, that neighborhood, this neighborhood. It literally was just so many people. But I knew that it was a lot more to the art form than the Electric Boogaloo, simply because, remember, guys were really advanced. Like from the time that I seen the poppers outside of Dominguez High School, and the time that I seen the Electric Boogaloos,
Right.
knew that that there was more to it, to the whole thing than what met the eye. And so it
Hmm.
was just up to me. It was up to me to just put the pieces to the puzzle together and try to like eventually create my own, my own style,
Wow.
or my own set of styles, right?
Yes.
And so so for the most part, that's when I started, back in, like I said, 1978, 1979. And then from there, I ended up moving from Compton back to LA with my mom. And then I went to Jordan High School in Watts. I went there for about a year or so. And then, well, I take that back. It might not have necessarily been a whole year, because I remember that year going to three different high schools. I went from Dominguez High
Mhm.
to Jordan High, and then from Jordan High to Pomona High, like
From
all in one calendar year. So it was really crazy for me as a kid, like just having to like adapt, going from one high
yeah.
school to the other. And so by the time I got to Pomona, I had already learned how to like do the arm wave, and I learned, how to, do the body wave and then reverse it.
Hmm.
And I just started, just at that point in time, literally everyone that I knew that had anything to do with popping, I was, anxious to just learn from them, just not necessarily by them teaching me, but just being a student of the game, watching, like, doing, whatever research I could,
Wow. Okay.
just to find out about their history.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so for the most part, that's the one way that I gave myself an advantage, is just being a student of the game, keeping my eyes open, and just, making sure that if anything new came up, I was
You
all
are.
over it. Yeah, I was all over it. And so,
Yes.
so now we're looking at me in Pomona High, and I never considered myself a popper at all, even though I was good at waving. See, I was good at waving. I was good at creeping, sliding, and floating, and gliding.
Okay.
And for the most part, as far as hitting, like really like hugging the beat, and the ability to capture the beat, I was nowhere near there yet, because I knew inside that when I seen guys perform, that's what they were doing. I wasn't there yet. And that's part of it. You really have to be honest with yourself and say, are you on those guys level yet? And
Right.
so that's what kept me going. That's what kept me wanting to, like, you know, uh, transform myself from just being a guy that knew a couple of popping moves into an actual popper. But it was Anthony Starchild's waves that I had, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then uh, I kept going back to LA, even though I lived in Pomona at the time. I kept going back and forth to LA just to, hang out, still learn, right? And so, in doing that, I also ran across a crew called the Mysterious Poppers.
Yes, I've
And
heard.
so when
Yeah.
I seen, my two biggest influences by far for waving, and it's not even close, it would be Anthony Starchild and the Mysterious Poppers.
Wow. Okay.
Because I had the best of both worlds. I had waving, just from uh, more of a simplistic standpoint to like, snaking and the cobra, right? Even though I never, learned how to do the cobra from them, not at all. Again, it's just sitting back watching these guys perform. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
So that's kind of what gave me like an advantage, I would say, as I got a little bit older. And then from there, just watching all kinds of stuff, like looking at not just like dancing, like when I went to clubs, like looking at popping, like when I went to a club, when I went to different contests like that, it started to extend beyond just, what I could see, like in with my own eyes, like in like a contest setting or
mm,
a performance setting. I started looking at movies, right? Like different movies, like the Sinbad, the Voyages of Sinbad,
mm,
and Medusa, with the snaky hair. Uh,
uh,
I
uh,
I watched. Like Bruce Lee, like, Enter the Dragon when he's, doing, I mean,
yeah.
I literally started just going beyond
Nice,
like just,
nice.
the normal stuff. And then, I started to find out that, wow, it's been here all along, but we just never really looked at it like that. Like literally
Yes.
waving has been around for
Mm,
centuries, right? Like
right.
so long. I mean, right there with with Tuts,
Right.
and just that whole like ideology, and so I really started gaining a lot of confidence and started like adapting like some of those movements that I seen on TV and what I seen people perform. I started adapting that into my own style,
Mm,
and that's kind of how I became who I was, and
mm-hmm.
uh, even though Star Child did his arm wave, pretty much from a basic standpoint, I basically found a way to just innovate it. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I got pretty good, and the one thing that kind of made things a lot easier for me is when I seen the follow wave for the first time. Like when somebody, like you call it like a follow wave or a guide wave or a trace wave. Like just the
Okay.
ability to do this, like,
Yes.
like when I was literally just kicking back one day and a neighbor down the street, Keith Dawson, he knew I was good, but he always loved to tease me. And he said, "Man, I know a guy who knows how to do it." And he knew I didn't know how to do it because he knew I mean, he's my neighbor for heaven's sake.
Okay.
He knew all about me. He says, "Yeah, I know a guy who knows how to do a wave. He can take a wave and throw a wave like you do, but he just isolates the wave on the different size of his body. He
And
goes
that's new.
from
That
the
was
left
new.
side. That was,
That was
I didn't believe him. I did not. I could not wait. I go, oh yeah, right, yeah. Let's see it. And sure enough, he introduces me to the guy, and it's Ticking Dave. He's a guy that I knew from LA all along. I'm like, what the hell, Dave? I didn't know. So literally, I learned how to do the follow away from one of the founding fathers of that move, man. Now, where he got it, I don't know. I have no idea where the guy got it, but I know he was good. I know he was awesome with it. So there you go. So we've got so now we're up to the arm wave,
hmm
the body wave, the reverse body wave, snaking or cobra, and
right.
then you have now the follow. So it
Wow.
was a combination of those different wave and elements is what kind of made me go into the web and
Ah,
start like just creating all kinds of stuff, like literally like saying,
nice.
yeah, like literally like saying to myself, okay, well, what is it that that everyone else does that I could still do, and it could still be a way but not look like anyone else's. And that's how I think. And what made me come to that conclusion was when we would enter contests, like, and anyone watching out there, like literally, like one thing, like the frame of mind that I had and a lot of us had was, hey, you know what? If you're gonna like do this move, whatever the move is, whatever the style is, I made it a point to make sure that when I went out and performed in contests, I wanted to make it easy on the judges, bro. I didn't want to keep it in the hands of. I'm sorry, like a lot of times I'll see guys so bent out of shape because they feel like all their hard work and all their training should have gotten them a W in the contest. And I'm like, I get it, but how, in the back of my mind, remember, I'm thinking, well, what did you do personally to make it easier on the judges?
Hmm.
And that's really how I train. That's how I practice. That's how I, create and configure styles.
So if I may ask, are you saying you would look at someone, let's say, doing the wave, how they presented it, and you would say, what is it about this that I like, and how can I make it more digestible to the audience? Like,
Correct. Correct. That's
okay,
exactly what it was. That's
how,
exactly what it was. That's
okay.
exactly what it was. Yes, that's what it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I really felt like just through normal conversations with friends, they would literally like complain to me like, "Hey, man, that guy stole my move." Like, oh man, even I remember even Star Child, getting mad at people like taking his like that was a big thing. Like people just did you like if I learned your move exactly how you did it,
Right.
it was no good. It was literally, I don't care
Right.
how I could have duplicated it better than you. It's useless when
Mhm.
we get to a contest when you get out in public because people are going to call you out and they're going to be like, oh man, no man, that's you're waving like Master Boogaloo or you're
Right.
waving, like
Right.
uh 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 you're waving like Star Child, I mean, they would call you out. So it really made those moves useless if you just, if you were fortunate enough to duplicate someone's move.
I see.
So that's one of the reasons why it was so important for me to take the move and not just duplicate the move, but really innovate the move, like really put something on it that just basically just makes the moves a little bit more spectacular, and just a little like the level of complexity, like it's almost like okay, well, even though when I seen the move in its purest form, it was really cool, but I'm like, okay, how could I make it better? How could I make it, harder for someone else to duplicate. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I thought. Still to this day, I mean, I still think the same way. I mean, I really
Yes.
feel like, there's just so many different styles within wave being itself that no one has seen yet. Like literally, like, you know, um, and it's just not me. It's like that's the most ideal situation, or I should say, that's the most ideal uh, level that any dancer or any waver should be trying to work towards, right? Like trying to make it to where whatever you do is so special until people look at it and say, "Yeah, we've seen it before, but we've never seen it done like that."
Mm.
Which is, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it's not easy to do, but then when you just make sure that you adapt your movements like muscle memory, it's just becomes so natural, like we're talking years and years and years of just doing the same thing over and over again, and then recognizing what the weaknesses are, not necessarily the strengths, it's like the weakness,
Ah, you're
obviously.
cutting away.
Yeah. You're only extracting what's
Mm.
animated, isolated, and controlled.
Ah,
That's it, and not animated in the sense of like robotic or mechanical, but
yes.
animated from a contortion isolation standpoint, if that makes sense.
What is this illusion? Why am
Yeah.
I fascinated by this?
Right.
What is the fascination? And okay, and so then if I'm understanding clearly of the when you were mentioning about people training and training, perhaps they're not exercising the approach to the waves of like what you're saying of like how you're saying it's not so much of the training the moves, but it's your approach to what you want to give to the dance. If that if
Correct. Correct.
what are you
Correct.
giving? What are you giving? How are you adding to the movement?
Correct. Correct. It's almost like if you just think about like we'll just take a style like boogaloo, right? We'll take a style like boogaloo. We'll take a style like you know uh, bop, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
take even like waves, right? Like all three of them
Mm-hmm.
has a specific criteria for each one, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so if I could like build a criteria for ways, but just from my philosophy, just from my point of view, then I've got a chance to continue to just build and build and keep building.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you do that is you really just have to take note of what's different. Like what makes this wave look different, and how can I like title this wave and really make sure that when I executed, people could see the differences. Like, wow, he's doing a trap wave here, but over there he's doing a straight jacket. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, see
Wow,
that's
that's crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? Like, you
yeah.
don't like nobody thinks of this stuff. Like, literally, without knowing everything, how it is. Like once like once you have a criteria and you have rules, right? Like within that criteria, it's almost like you're testing the boundaries and the limitations of that criteria. And so
Wow.
once you learn everything, then you could start kind of like interfacing and breaking, like literally like not necessarily uh, confusing people, but more or less you can you know play with styles to where you can
Mm,
really test the limitations and test the boundaries.
yes.
Like you can break the rules as long as you know what all the rules are. That's really what it comes down to. As long as you know the
Yes,
rules, you can
yes. Because
you can
you can
you
bring
can
it
break
back.
them. Yeah, and
You
then
can
yeah,
bring it
yes,
back.
yeah,
It's different enough, but it still has the structure and
correct.
understanding. The rules. You have to know the rules.
Yeah, you
Then
have
you
to know
bring
the
your
rules. I mean, we
yeah.
could go, my gosh, dude, anything, right? Like, just close your eyes and think about all these styles. Like, if you know every tut position there is on the planet, like every, boogaloo roll, like every,
Right.
tick, every robotic movement, like then you can really like that's when you can innovate that move, and really get more out of it than what anyone has ever seen before. And that's kind of how I operate.
Wow. Okay. I want to ask because we're talking about the tick waves, and the reverse waves. What are some of the waves that you have named or you have brought and shared with, the public,
Oh
other
my
dancers?
gosh, bro.
What would, or even what is maybe your, if we could get a glimpse of how do you look at waves? How do you visualize waves or express waves? I guess your mind or of going into it.
um yeah, so basically, like some waves that I've seen before, and uh everyone's familiar with. I kind of like rename them simply, well,
Mm,
not all of them, but some of them I'll rename simply to isolate the differences from that wave as it's compared to another one. For instance, like the one wave that I was talking about before, with when we look at Medusa with
mm,
the snaky hair, right? Like
right.
like I don't know if you realize it, but we have always called that like exit waves because the waves are starting from your shoulder and it's
Right.
exiting here, right? And so you could just only imagine like the different uses of that wave, right? Like you can place your body in different various positions and move your arms, whether they're in here, whether they're outward, like you can really like freak it. So I have always looked at that as my exit wave style, right? so
Okay.
so that's one, style.
Hmm.
And so to answer your question, that's how I do it. I literally like I go down the list with the different waves that I've uh, like rebranded or relabeled, but then some of them uh, I would honestly say that I've never seen anyone like do some of the waves that I uh, made up
Hmm.
or that I've innovated.
Hmm.
And it's no knock against anyone that may have done it before, but I have never seen them do it.
Right.
So
Sure. Sure.
so yeah, so basically, man, I've got so many ways, but the the one approach that I had to take in order to keep adding is I had to like title each style. Like I've got the exit wave style, then I've got trap waves that I do. I
Mm.
have, yeah. And so I also have, my body waves, like, reverse uh, and I have the reverse body. Well, you could call it a kick wave, I guess, like a kick wave, the way you reverse the wave when it goes down to the
Right.
feet and back up again.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, so I've got a crack wave style that I do.
Oh.
Uh, I've got just so many different variations of like the trace wave. Like
Mm.
it's uh, something that only when you see me perform you'll notice it. But I've got like a cradle wave where the wave is, well, you can't see my
Mm.
arm, but I've got like a cradle wave, right? And then
Okay.
I've got the cradle wave. I've got whirlpool waves.
Mm.
I've got you know waves where, I tick,
Mm.
in some instances, but literally I had to like categorize each one, and I mean I've got a list of them. I mean I have to like read them off to you because
You,
I do have a lot,
you
but
truly, you
I'll actually maybe one of these days I'll or sometime within the next couple of weeks or whatever, I'll list them all.
that'll
But
be
literally, I
cool.
have so many waves I can't even
Wow.
like name them all to you simply because I'm doing this interview right now and my mind isn't on. Okay, well,
Right, what we're
you could
doing.
have just remembered all the ways you have because that's not where my mind is. It's like
Of
only
course.
when set up in an environment where I could actually execute them, then I could
Of
show
course.
you. But
Of
but
course.
but if there's anything that you want to know about specifically when it comes to waves, or anything that you see me do, I
Yeah.
could definitely answer those questions for you.
Something actually I was thinking when you're talking about different types of waves, the tracing and tidal waves. Have you yourself or seen others during the 79, 80s and going forward of hands, people using the hands for waves?
Not like that.
Mm-hmm.
No way. No, no.
Mm.
Um, no, that was like later on. Like
Mm.
we're talking like decades later.
Okay.
That's when I seen like people using hands. Now I still do, a wave here when
Mm.
this one, right? I'm doing, this one when I'm
Right,
going
right.
there, right? I do that one.
Okay.
This one is very important, but I mean, as far as,
Yeah.
the way you were
Like
doing it with
getting
the
into
twisting and all, hadn't seen that yet. But,
Okay.
but
Okay.
in terms of getting fingers involved, this is the only, literally, I would think that this is the only one where my fingers really gets involved. It really,
Mm.
the thing about it is, it's like, I mean, it's powerful because I mean this opens up a lot when I start when I do this and then I bring it back. I mean it opens up so much, but
Wow.
it gives you the ability to just tell the story a lot easier. Like the more you can incorporate, your fingers, your thumbs, your any part of your
Everything, right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Everything's open.
And also, from hearing how you share the analytical mind that you have, breaking things down, finding the purest ingredients, the way you describe it, it really reminds me of a scientist. It's
Oh yeah,
very
definitely.
scientific.
Oh yeah. It really is. Let's be honest. It really
Right,
is. There's like a very scientific
right,
strategy behind the
right.
whole thing, because you only can give yourself an advantage the more you can like find uh the more you could find anything that could help you like present your style easier. It's always a welcome sight. So that's what I try to do, like use science and use technology, to
Mm.
really make my waving stand out. But one thing that I think helps me out a lot too is
Mm.
not, and you, everyone's going to have their own views of this, but based on the fact that I know how to wave well, that really like makes me feel as though I need to save a lot of those wave movements for when I'm in the meat of my performance. Meaning that you'll probably never see me do a performance where I just automatically come out waving. It's really hard for me to do because my mind has been programmed
Mm.
to like pay attention to the music, and the majority of the time you're listening to music, it doesn't spell wave at all. It's like
Right,
it's boom pop boom pop.
right.
So it's like I get, I can wave it out, but then it's almost like cheating. I'm cheating. I'm cheating the song. I'm cheating the audience. It's like I need to, really,
Yes.
you know, get you. I need to build that moment up instead of just giving it to you all at once. And sometimes it's hard to do. And I don't care, what your specialty is. You know, uh, it's always a challenge to like try to hold out and then come with your master your master
Yes.
strategy like later on during the performance as opposed to giving it to them all at once. And that's just I think that's natural. And I learned that, trust me, I learned that as years went by. I mean, I literally used, like I said before, I was always like concerned about you know, uh, waving, snaking,
Mhm.
gliding, creeping, floating, and twister flexes. That was me. I wasn't like, okay, let me really like analyze the beat first. Because
Mhm.
that to me, that's the fun. That's the fun. That's like uh, uh, the one way to draw the audience in is by showing them that you have a personal relationship with the beat. And a lot of times people they get so caught up into the movement. It's like, yeah, even your
Ah,
oldest moves, your best ones, it may not necessarily match the music that's going on.
right.
And so that's kind of how I grade my performance is okay, how well did you follow the beat, the rhythm,
Right.
the timing, how well did you pace? Did you give them everything at the
Mm.
very beginning and then at the end you just hit them with a couple of sloppy moves on the way out, or did you give that
Wow.
is it's all about presentation from the beginning, the middle, and the end. You have
Wow.
to, you have to really uh, make the audience believe that you believe in what you're doing, no
Yeah.
matter what it is.
Right.
It's about confidence, and that's that was the key all along was confidence.
Mm.
How much confidence can I prove I have through my performance?
Wow. How much you
Yeah.
believe in your own abilities.
Yeah, yeah.
And
How
that's right.
right? Because how is anyone going to believe that I'm good if they're looking at me and I look like I'm uncertain. I look like I'm just fumbling around all over the place and really not making it, people understand what it is that I'm trying to get them to see. And it's trust me, it's a trial and error. It's a trial and error period involved.
Yes.
But it's
Wow.
fun. It is fun.
Wow.
It's
That's
really
what
fun.
that was that was pretty, how do I say, what you just shared of your approach of the music, the relationship with the music and the moves coming, after. But first, let's connect with the music and
Oh,
also just how you're analyzing your introduction, middle, ending. Again, very, yeah, very gold information, I would say,
yeah.
for people listening. I see Anthony King. I think that's who you were mentioning.
Oh
He
man, no,
said
the AK is not
yeah,
on here. Oh my God.
he said, "Greetings, great ones." Yeah.
What's up, AK?
Yo,
No, that guy right there, man. Hey,
hey, for
honestly,
sure.
bro, like started from him, man. Watching that cat like
Wow.
do his thing. Like if you see me twister flex, and if you like
Wow.
think that I have a cool twister flex, it was him. It was him who inspired me, man. Like just my whole makeup. Like I look at myself like my base style. Like when I'm not waving, it's a mechanical puppet and a scarecrow. That's my base style before we get to waving. It's like I want to look mechanical. I want to look like a puppet. I want to look like a scarecrow. If I'm not hitting those markers, I'm doing something wrong, or everything is being done for a specific purpose. Like if it like let's say we're just talking waves alone, that's probably the one exception I'll make to where okay, I don't care about being mechanical as it relates to doing the puppet or the scarecrow, because I could just start off with the waves, but of course within the waves, I'm going to still try to make them look mechanical. I'm still going to try to make them look, like a puppet, and those elements is what I take from, you know, from the mechanical puppet and the scarecrow itself, and I place it into waves without actually, doing the puppet or the scarecrow, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Right.
But
The
some people,
intention, your intention.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Right.
attention to detail, for the most part.
Intention too. Right. Right.
Right.
Wow. I was gonna say just two more questions I would like to ask you. The first
Sure.
one is, how did you get the name No Bone Tyrone? I don't think we
That's
kind
a
of.
great
Where did
question.
that
Yeah.
come from?
So basically, it was my cousin Michael Warren, from Pomona High School.
Hmm.
He uh, he was the first one who started calling me No Bone Tyrone, because he said when I would wave, it looked like I didn't have any bones in my body.
No
That,
Bone.
that's yeah, that's how I got that name. And it's No Bone Tyrone. Yeah, that's how I got the name. And I mean, some people say, hey, well, is it no bone or is it no bones? It's like, well, that's the key. It's like it's your choice. I mean, I, do I look like I'm dancing and I don't look like I have a bone, or does it look like I don't have any bones? It's like it's the same. It's one and the same. No bone, no bones, same
Right. Right.
thing.
It
Yeah,
works
you
regardless.
can't go wrong. I mean,
Nice.
because
Nice.
I've heard people call me No Bones Tyrone, and it's not incorrect. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get you to say when I perform. Like, wow, he doesn't have any bones. And it's
No.
just not
Yeah.
from a waving standpoint. See, that's the thing. What makes me uh, what makes me appear as though I don't have any bones isn't the fact that I'm trying to look animated, isolated, and contorted when I wave. It's when I twister flex, because the twister flex really, when you see someone that really knows how to flex well, it literally looks like their head is separate from their shoulders, is separate from their hips, and is separate from their feet.
Right.
When I first seen the twister flex, those are the elements. So once again, it kind of looks like you don't have any bones even from that standpoint, just
Right.
from a twister
Right.
flex. So you're
You're
not
getting
getting it just
closer.
from the waves. You're getting it from my flexes, and I
Yeah.
really feel like when it comes to twister flexing, that's one of my strengths, right? Like that's one of the things that helps me become or transform into Noble and Tyrone. So
Wow.
with Michael Warren, to answer your question, we called him back in the day the Prince of Darkness, because he was a DJ back in the day. Pomona High School, all you Pomona High School guys out there, yeah, that was my guy. He was the first one who called me Noble and
Wow.
Tyrone.
That's great. That's
1980, 1981, 1980, 1980, in between 80 and 81 is when I
wow.
got the name for the first time.
Nice, nice. I see cool boy. Cool
Oh
cool
man,
boy? He's saying
cool boy from Compton. Yeah, what's up,
yeah.
cool boy? That's my guy right there, man. Yeah,
Nice.
he's OG from Compton, man. Like one of my guys. You know,
Wow.
definitely did a feature with him.
Nice,
You know,
nice. Yes, I Cool Boy has an interview as well, I believe. A
yes,
podcast of many. Yes, I
yes,
was I was watching those, and that's amazing how much he's documented a lot of
right,
history, a lot of stories.
right.
I wanted to. So my last question is, what is a message you would like to leave with the viewers, people watching this video, people in the future watching this video? What's a message you would like to leave them with?
Um, wow. Gee, I might have mentioned it before. Like when you when you are like trying to find your identity as a dancer, don't get caught up into thinking that one specific style ranks above another one. because really, ultimately, it's all about trying to uh, become skilled in everything you can. It's literally like when I teach someone uh, my style, and I more or less try to explain to them, how they can get better. I always, try to make sure that I explain the importance of them being able to challenge themselves. So, is anyone listening right now? Like,
Mm.
always welcome the challenge, and don't always get so caught up and bent out of shape if you don't happen to win a contest. Some of my most memorable battles that I lost is when I really took that loss and I said, "That's why I lost." It's like you have to be able to take a loss and gain from that loss all the elements that you didn't use during your performance.
Mm.
And I would never be who I am if I didn't lose some of the battles that I was in.
Mm.
But that would be the biggest thing. Like, you always try to, like, strive to uh, have other criterias within that performance that you're trying to hit. Like, for instance, yeah, you might not have won the battle, but did you win the respect of the audience? Did
Mm.
you win the respect of the promoter? Did you did your performance, did you influence someone that was up and coming that didn't give a damn about the loss? They was like, wow,
Uh,
did you see that?
yeah.
That is what's the most important thing. Not necessarily the win. The win is, listen, the win could be so temporary. I mean, you could win a contest one week, and then the next week you could lose the other one simply because the timing, the situation, the judging, the criterias, that were set in front of you to use to win the contest with. I mean, you may not have met them, so you have to really just appreciate the fact that you're doing something that a lot of people want to do, and they try for years, but they just can't get it, and they get discouraged in some cases, and they just they just want to shut it down because they feel like they're not getting anywhere. Uh, and the one thing I want to mention as well is when you start, like, putting together, like, your list of styles that you want to learn, you got to make sure that you really think about, am I doing this on a temporary level? Like, is this just going to be something that I'm just going to do for a couple of years? Am I doing this just to, uh, bust at the company, barbecue, or the office, the
Right.
office party, or am I doing this, for a long term, or is it short term? Or everybody's motivation to do the dance is going to be different. Me, when I seen it, I knew it was going to be a lifetime commitment.
Mm.
That may not be
Right.
your motivation to do it, for a lifetime. But for me, I knew it was, because it was just so rewarding once I did learn how to do it, and then just the different doors that was able to open for me. I really, really can say that I, picked up this dance, and was able to add to it. And that's another thing. Like, when you do get to where you feel you're supposed to be with the art form, you always, always, always want to try to figure out, what can I add? not take away. We
Mm,
get so caught up into just taking, and not giving,
mm.
right? And so that would be it. Like, man, I don't know if hopefully I didn't go too far, too
Oh
deep
no, it's
down the
beautiful,
rabbit
man.
hole.
That's beautiful.
But I could keep going probably. But those things are probably the most important. Like, really, decide if this is just going to be temporary. Decide if it's going to be a lifetime commitment.
Mhm.
If it's going to be something that's just short term, it's okay. It's no problem. Putting a putting a stamp on how long you're going to do the dance, because in order for you to really be good at it, it takes time. But are you willing to spend that time? If that doesn't mean that however long it takes is going to be a one size fits all formula for everyone, because some
Right.
people get it. Like, technology is more advanced now. If anything, you like the time that it took me to learn a lot of things. Like, you just don't have that delay anymore because of technology, social media, YouTube, just so many different forms of education that's out there.
Right.
You know, shows like this, interviews like this,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely.
Wow. Well, I wanna thank you, No Bone Tyrone, for not just being a incredible dancer, mover, visuals, waves, but also having a mind like there's the clarity of intention, the selflessness, really caring for people to take something in to grow. And I just admire that. I respect that. And I'm happy that, you are in this community and a person that people look up to is a positive role model, for artists, for dancers. So I
And
just want to thank you again, for everything you've done. So
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for interviewing me. I think this might be the first time that I've ever did anything live. It's kind of a little nervous because
ah,
some of the mistakes that I might make. Like, sometimes the words might, not be expressed the way that I intend for them to be. But at the same time, I appreciate you giving me opportunity and setting up a forum so I could come and explain, share part of
yeah,
my history with you. But definitely appreciate it.
yeah, man. And also just to let you know, Madeline, she was watching this talk. She said, "Thank you both. This was great." And
Oh,
also,
awesome.
so people definitely appreciate this. And also just to say, like I've done, I think about like 72 interviews now, and I would say I appreciate the way you expressed um the messages. I would definitely say that they were digestible and that
Awesome.
there's some gold information. I really recommend dancers to watch this again. So,
Cool.
yes.
Right on, man.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
yes, sir.
Definitely.
Well, I hope you have a great rest of your night and yeah,
Oh,
man, thanks again.
you're welcome.
Take
Peace. All right.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Buddy. All right.